So this is a bit of weird news here. Apparently, Microsoft is planning to do a remaster of Halo Combat Evolved and release it on the PlayStation. So, okay, let's just start off with the whole idea of them doing a remaster of the first Halo game, which would be Combat Evolved. We already have the MCC. The whole idea of doing that just seems redundant and pretty pointless in my opinion. Kind of like the Last of Us 1 remake for PlayStation 5. It wasn't actually a remake, it was just slightly better graphics and no multiplayer, which was literally one of the main points of playing The Last of Us 1 was factions, and they took that out of the PS5 version. So if Microsoft were to do this, would they not have multiplayer for it? Would they just do a single player with like better graphics and call it a day? Again, I don't think we really need them to mess with the old Halo games. We have the MCC. That's it. There's really nothing else that needs to be done there. Now, as far as the game coming to PlayStation, I guess that would be a way to introduce PlayStation fans to the Halo series by having this remaster of the very first Halo game. And it wouldn't be completely outside the realm of possibility because they have recently been putting select first-party Xbox games on the PlayStation, including Sea of Thieves, and it looks like more of them are coming in the future. So I guess the whole idea of Halo coming to there, I mean, everything's on the table now. Like, Microsoft was saying, oh, we still believe in exclusive games and having exclusive games on our platform, but the fact of the matter is, if you truly cared about that, you would keep as many of the, like, you would keep all those games on Xbox and I guess PC as well, because they consider that the same thing, because they don't have a whole lot of first-party games to begin with, so giving a whole bunch of them away on PlayStation, yeah, not good, not good. I mean, I'm sure it's probably making them money, but as far as like, the optics of it, of them putting their first-party games on PlayStation, when PlayStation certainly won't be doing that for Xbox, and Nintendo won't be doing that for Xbox, so it feels very one-sided. Like, what is Microsoft gaining out of doing this? But it seems to me just as a way to get every dollar that they possibly can because they've been spending so much money investing in Game Pass, and I guess they want to use the PlayStation as a way to subsidize the Game Pass service, because obviously Game Pass is not on PlayStation, but all these games were never on PlayStation before, these Xbox games, so the idea is that they'll make a shit ton of money off of sales, and that way they can use that money to invest further into Game Pass, because they care about that way more. The hardware side of things, as far as like the actual Xbox hardware, is really not the main priority for Microsoft. It hasn't been since the beginning of the Xbox One. And this report, by the way, comes from Tom Warren, who is no random dude in his basement putting bullshit out there. Like, I mean, it's possible that it won't happen. It does say this is in the early stage of development, so they could decide to cancel it or change their mind or whatever. But it's important to check your sources and take it with a grain of salt no matter what. I mean, these days, anyone can say anything, and these gaming websites will just run it. Like, there was this random girl on Twitter who's like a streamer. She has no actual gaming journalism credentials or any inside, like, she's not a leaker or anything like that. She's just some random chick. She said in a tweet that Rocksteady was being shut down by Warner Brothers, just a speculation, and a whole bunch of different websites ran with that today. And it's just like, okay, this is ridiculous. I understand times are tough for online media, especially like these websites, and the vast majority of them are being, they're having layoffs and they're not making anything close to what they used to like 10 years ago. So they're relying on these sensational headlines to maximize ad revenue and I guess stay afloat and not go out of business. It's crazy what's going on, by the way. IGN just bought a whole bunch of these smaller video game websites. They bought GamesIndustry.biz, Eurogamer, Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247. Like, they're all part of the same company, I believe, so that makes sense. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of consolidation going on right now in that whole space, the online video game news. Well, it's not just video games. It happens. This has been going on with like all of online media for a while. But we'll see if this turns out to be true. This is personally something that I've speculated for a long time. I said that Halo Infinite had a chance of coming to PlayStation 5. I was technically wrong, but I wasn't, like, really, like, given a hard prediction that that was definitely, like, definitively going to be the case, but I did envision a future where we were going to get Xbox games on the PlayStation because they care about getting Game Pass subscriptions, but, you know, at the same time, PlayStation is not allowing Game Pass to be part of their console, and I think that's the real holdup here as far as, like, as far as the potential of getting even more, if not all, of the first-party Xbox games onto the PlayStation 5, is because Microsoft definitely would love it if Nintendo and Sony both said, hey, we'd like to have Game Pass on our console. They would do, in a heartbeat, they would want that to like, it wouldn't even be a question. But it wouldn't really benefit Sony because they have their own PlayStation ecosystem. They have the PlayStation Store. They have all these games. Like, if Microsoft, like, having a subscription service, plus they have their own PlayStation Plus service, and I just don't envision a scenario where every console has every video game streaming / subscription service. Like, it's going to be exclusive to each console and each ecosystem for the foreseeable future, which, you know, provides a lot less choice and options for gamers who are looking into these services. Like, if you're on PC, Game Pass is really your only option. If you're on Nintendo, you're stuck with the shitty Nintendo service, and on PlayStation, you can only use PlayStation Plus. So they also have Ubisoft Plus and these other smaller services, to be fair, like on every platform, but they're not very relevant. And EA Play is already integrated with Game Pass, so I think Ubisoft's going to have a similar thing. They're going to have to cut a deal with someone else because I just don't see people caring about a standalone Ubisoft service. And then what else is there? The Amazon Luna streaming thing, which, you know, the whole stream, yeah, Google Stadia worked out so well, having no exclusive games and all that. Yeah, Luna's going to be the same thing. Give another year or two, that whole service is going to shut down. So yeah, I think this whole thing, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if actually doing a whole remaster is very necessary. They could just simply port it over from the MCC, or just release the entire MCC. And their whole approach can be, hey, we have the Master Chief Collection on PlayStation, you could pay for it, or you can stream it on your phone for $15 a month or $17 a month. You know, even if Game Pass is never going to be on PlayStation, they can still try to use the PlayStation, like try to have a presence on the PlayStation platform to leverage more interest into the Game Pass service, if that makes any sense. But leave your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about the idea of them remastering Halo Combat Evolved, and only Combat Evolved, releasing that on the PlayStation, and calling it a day? Like, to me, it kind of seems like a little bit redundant. Like, you don't really need to do another remaster of Combat Evolved because what we already have on Master Chief Collection is fine. Like, I care so little about this that even if it was given to me for free, I wouldn't play it. And the report also says it's in very early development, which is funny because it really wouldn't take much effort to do this in the first place, but it says early development, so if that's the case, then it wouldn't be announced on the Xbox Game Showcase this weekend. So if it's not announced, doesn't mean that's necessarily not going to happen, and it's fake news. But the idea of Halo on PlayStation is such a crazy concept. It's like when Sonic first came on Nintendo platforms in the early 2000s. It was mind-blowing. So that aspect alone would be pretty crazy. It would be a huge turning point in the video game industry.